Randonautica is an app that sets up a wild goose chase for its users. You tell it something you want to see, and then, using the GPS on your phone, it takes you to a real-life adventure, allowing you to uncover the secrets of the world around you. Sometimes, however, the journey it sets up for you takes a much darker turn than expected. Today, on Graveyard Shift Ranked, the top 10 most terrifying discoveries on Randonautica. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to Graveyard Shift and comment below to let us know what terrifying topic we should cover next. Number 10. The Body. For our first entry on this list, we meet a TikTok user named Baddest Bunny on the Block. She uses TikTok and Randonautica to create videos of her bizarre travels for her rapidly growing fanbase. They usually involve harmless fun, simple adventures, and random finds. But on this day, the situation evolved into something much more sinister. The app sends Baddest Bunny on the Block and her friend out into the middle of nowhere, where they find a tarp blowing in the wind. Upon closer inspection, they uncover a freshly created mound of dirt and a shovel with a distinctly red hue to it. Some followers think that the dirt mound looks like there's a body freshly buried under it. As such, the police are called. They begin investigating the matter and even start to collect evidence. Was this spooky encounter staged? Is there a murderer out there attempting to use Randonautica to gloat about their crimes? Or was it all just happenstance and weird timing? Only you can be the judge. Number 9. The Home of a Witch. YouTuber Exploring with Eric loves to use Randonautica app to create videos of his travels and adventures. Most of them don't end with decapitated baby dolls though. Eric and his friend told the app they wanted to see something dark and disturbing. They wanted to be shocked and surprised, to see the scariest place they have ever seen. So the app leads them out on a long dirt road. It seems to go on forever, until they discover a hand-painted sign framed with burned and mangled dolls. The sign claims that the property it sits on is owned by a witch. The message, written in Spanish, informs any would-be trespassers that there are eyes constantly watching them, so they must enter at their own risk. As if that wasn't scary enough, the property is lined with fences decorated with hundreds of burned and disfigured dolls. As Eric and his friends explore the property, they uncover a trio of homemade scarecrows standing over mounds of dirt. Further up the path, they discover a small shack. There seems to be no one on the property, and yet both Eric and his friends claim they feel eyes watching them. Becoming too frightened to push on, they decide to return to their car and flee back to civilization. Number 8. A Haunted House. The next entry on this list is YouTuber Steve Ronan. He also makes videos of his creepy escapades with the Randonautica app. Steve and his friend Josh told the app that they wanted to experience something dark and twisted. No one could have predicted what happened next. After following a mysterious GPS route, the app takes them to a wooded, winding road. Off in the distance, it appears as though a pair of blinking lights are constantly following the pair of explorers. Once they finally reach their destination, they discover a tree with a pentagram painted onto the side of it. Understandably unnerved, the two friends decide to venture forth and go to uncover an abandoned house. The grounds of the property are covered with trash, used shopping carts, and collapsing trees. It's very apparent that no one has lived on this land for quite some time. The strange blinking light keeps appearing in their recorded footage, however. They just can't seem to figure out where it's coming from. They also spot two distinct shapes in the reflections of windows of the deteriorating old house. Each seems to be some sort of distorted human figure, garbed in shadow and leering at the camera. At this point, the friends are summoned outside, where police officers wait for them. Their search is cut short, but the unexplained mysteries these two friends uncovered will live on forever in the minds of all who watch their videos. Number 7. Everything Paranormal. Much like the other social media personalities on this list, Everything Paranormal is exactly what it sounds like. It's a YouTube channel that focuses on paranormal and creepy content. And in this Randonautica-themed outing, they definitely got their hands full. The app takes them on a roundabout journey, which ultimately climaxes in a simple row house, seemingly in the suburbs. After parking in the lot, a man appears and starts to vacantly stare at our adventure seeker. Why is he there? Why is he gazing unflinchingly at the car? Who knows? Randonautica has an uncanny ability to provide you with exactly what you ask, and Everything Paranormal did ask for something creepy. Number 6. Remains of the past. Texas TikTok user Brian, who uses the handle bymark2492, decided to give Randonautica a go after downloading it on a whim at 1 a.m. To his surprise, the app takes him to a random street corner only 3 minutes from his house. He doesn't find anything except for a little bit of trash and a street light, but he refuses to go home just yet, searching the surrounding area and uncovering an old driver's license. Brian takes it home, does a little research, and discovers that the identification card was issued to a man who murdered 2 of his neighbors and then committed suicide by police officer. Talk about a bizarre, harrowing experience. The questions that this Randonautica trip raises are endless. How did the app know the ID was on the ground? Why did it want Brian to find it? And most importantly, how did a double homicide committing murderer's ID card end up in Texas when the man died in California? Number 5. Crash Dodger. While Randonautica is rapidly growing in popularity, some viewers have found the level of bizarreness and content concerning the app slightly suspect. TikTok user The Panda Show and her friends decided to put it to the test. Instead of saying out loud what they were looking for, they wrote it down, selecting a rainbow because they thought there was no way it could possibly be scary or creepy. And yet, where there's a will, there's a way. The app takes them to a multicolored rainbow fence. Yes, just like that. And if that wasn't enough, the app then takes them to a real rainbow. Yes. The level of pre-planning and orchestration required to create this experience would be unheard of, and yet the app delivered on exactly what it promised. It took the users on a bizarre journey that climaxed in not 1, but 2 of the exact things they were thinking of. It doesn't get more surreal than that. Number 4. Nolan's Orange Destination. YouTuber Nolan and a few of his friends asked Randonautica to show them something orange. It takes them on an extended jaunt, one that might have been fine during the day, but becomes terrifying at night. They end up at the beach, wind whipping their car. Then they see it, the thing that they asked the app to show them: orange emergency cones. The friends are understandably freaked out by the fact that the app just supplied them with something orange. Trying to mix it up, they decide to pick something harder, the number 4. This then leads them on another late-night, winding car drive. It results in them finding the number 4 etched into a concrete handrail. The friends are now doubly weirded out, but they decided to take one last shot at breaking the app. Being as they're deep in the countryside, they select a color that's going to be very hard to find in the landscape: the color blue. And what do you know? The app takes them directly to a blue bubblegum wrapper stashed in some tall grass. Eerie. Number 3. Mia Cole's Personal Hell. YouTuber Mia Cole used Randonautica to find a dilapidated old windmill out in the middle of a field. She wasn't initially taken aback by it, thinking it was just that, a windmill. However, after returning to her house later in the day to record some book and confessional sequences for her YouTube video, something truly terrifying happened. Astute viewers have pointed out that behind her, leering through a window, are 2 glowing yellow eyes. They seem to track with Mia while she delivers an account of the day's travels. They seem to appear and disappear, as if some sort of small being or animal is intently watching her, but does not want to be seen while doing so. Number 2. Jake Carlinis' Worst Idea. Jake Carlini is a YouTuber who decided to get in on the Randonautica fad by trying to summon the most terrifying thing he could think of: forest clowns. You might be thinking that there's no way the app could produce something this spooky and this specific. But you'd be wrong. As Jake and his friends are following the app's GPS directions through the woods, they hear circus music. The group of friends are sufficiently scared. They decide that they don't want to have a forest clown sighting after all. The disembodied circus music echoing throughout the forest is too much for them. They hurry back to the car and opt out of this potentially very scary situation, which is a shame, and also completely understandable. It would have been really interesting to see what exactly was generating that horrifyingly creepy music, but if you were in their shoes, could you honestly say that you would have done anything different? Number 1. Luckiest guy ever. Noah DB5 is a YouTuber who decided to explore his college campus with the help of Randonautica. His path took him to a nearby cemetery. That should have been enough to stop him dead in his tracks, but it didn't. Noah ventures forth into the graveyard. He quickly becomes scared by disturbing noises, hearing a strange screaming or cawing sounds from the nearby forest tree line.
Okay. Oh God, there's more screaming as we're approaching the graveyard.
A bit unnerved by this, he nevertheless pushes forward until he hears the sound growing louder, echoing repeatedly throughout the graveyard. What was the sound? Was it a person calling out in pain? The high-pitched call of some woodland creature? A spirit from the great beyond? Viewers of this video have offered up multiple possible solutions, but there's no definitive answer. The only thing we can say for certain is that no one in their right mind would hear that sound and not instantly flee in the other direction. And, on that note, like, comment, and subscribe to The Graveyard Shift. Check back next time, if you're brave enough, to find out what otherworldly events we'll chronicle next.